Hey y'all, it's Decky back again with Clayton's response to Laura Owens' complaint that she submitted to ADRE, the Arizona Department of Real Estate. Now, we went over Laura's complaint previously. If you have not seen that one, you may not have all the context here in this one. So I will put it in the eyelet above, and it will also be listed in the description box below if you haven't seen that one yet. But let's jump in to Clayton's response. So here on August 31st, 2023, it says, your complaint against Clayton Echard. Dear Ms. Owens, the Department of Real Estate received your complaint concerning the above licensee. This case was assigned a number. Please refer to that number in any future correspondence with the department. The department has opened a complaint file and will conduct an investigation into your allegations. If it appears there is reasonable belief that the statutes over which the department has jurisdiction have been violated, we will initiate corrective action. Please note that in an administrative action brought by a regulatory agency, the state becomes the complainant. Your role at this time is as a witness rather than as a party to the action. You should also be aware the department has limited jurisdiction and that there may be other legal remedies available to you as well. The complaint department has no authority to other restitution or other payments to any party in a complaint. Please understand that this department retains sole discretion in deciding that closing the investigation and taking no disciplinary action may be appropriate. In that possible event, you will be notified that and given an explanation. If you have additional information or documentation to provide concerning the complaint filed, please contact the department via the investigations section of the department's message center, and they list the website. Documents may be submitted electronically in either Word or PDF format or via U.S. mail. Sincerely, Kathy von Friedenberg. So this Kathy is different than another Kathy that she is corresponding with as well. So, response to the case number, recounting of the facts. Please reference the document titled Laura Owens Transcript for a complete overview of the messages that were sent between Laura and I via text. So this is Clayton now submitting his stuff. Laura Owens initially reached out to me on LinkedIn back in March of this year and stated she wanted to buy investment properties. Knowing that I was a real estate agent, she asked if I would be willing to help her out, which I said that I would be happy to do so. I think he means May and not March. On March 10th, which we know is May 10th, I engaged in a series of text messages that eventually led to her coming over to my house and us hooking up. We did not have intercourse, which is important to note for a later point that I will bring up. However, she did perform oral on me. I'm sure the real estate department was like, what the hell have we gotten ourselves into? The next day, Laura and I went to look at properties. At the end of the viewing a home, I asked Laura to sit with me in my car and talk about the night before. I told her that I had made a mistake by inviting her over to my house and that I felt it was unprofessional of me to do so. I told her that if she wanted to find a new real estate agent to work with, I understood and didn't want things to be weird between us. She told me that things would not be weird. But then she asked me if I was willing to give her a chance and date her since she really enjoyed the night. I told her that I was not interested in doing so and that I wanted to proceed forward as friends. She began to cry and said it was upsetting that I wasn't willing to give her a chance, but eventually said she understood and that we could proceed forward with working together. Over the course of the few days, we looked at multiple properties, and eventually Laura settled on two properties that piqued her interest. One property was the 76th Street and the second was Lynn Oaks. We ended up writing up offers for both properties. However, Laura would not keep things professional between us. She kept asking to go on date and for me to give her a chance, which I didn't feel that she would be able to work with me if I wasn't willing to give her a chance. I told her that I respected her feelings and that if that was the case, we should not work together. But once again, she said that she did not want to work with anyone else. Because it's about you, Clayton, and not the properties. I began to question if Laura actually wanted to buy real estate or if she was just really trying to spend more time around me. No matter how many times I asked to keep things professional, she would not do so and continued to say that it would be hard working together if I weren't willing to give her a chance and date her. Eventually, my gut told me I needed to back out of representing her and refer her about the current deals that we sent over. Refer her to somebody else. So I told her I was no longer going to be representing her. She panicked and asked, "What about the current deals we sent over?" To which I replied by telling her to find another agent, tell him/her the terms of the deal that she wanted to make. She said that she wouldn't do that because she only wanted to work with me. But once again, I confirmed that I would no longer be representing her. I sent her a list of names via Google of other agents and told her to reach out to them and also mentioned that I could put her into contact with someone from my real estate team. She then sent an email to my broker, Kathy Swan, which that is the other Kathy, and said that I had violated my responsibilities as an agent and that she either wanted me to be punished for my behavior or I could continue to work with her and she wouldn't ask for punishment to be divvied out to me. I told Kathy that I was not willing to work with her, so Kathy relayed to Laura that I would not be interacting with her further. Kathy also said that she would be happy to put her in contact with another agent to close on the two deals that we had written offers for. Laura declined and then sent me a message stating that she was pregnant. As I stated before, Laura and I never had intercourse, so her claim is ridiculous in nature. For the last half year, Laura has harassed me via email, text messages about me being the father to her unborn children. I told Laura that I would take a prenatal paternity test. However, she placed a stipulation on it that she would only take the test if I were to date her with intention. For a couple of weeks, she would not take the test under any other circumstance. I declined, and this is where we stand today. Laura continues to harass me with messages and now this filing of a complaint. She will not provide me with visitation documentation of the ultrasounds that she claims she has had done, nor will she let me speak to any of the medical providers that have seen her and administered the ultrasound. The only proof that she has given me is a positive pregnancy test. There's no telling if she got pregnant by someone else or if she's even pregnant to begin with. As I have said, she will not allow me to speak to any of the doctors that have seen her. Why am I telling you all of this? Simply because Laura has an obsession with me, and the emails and text messages prove that. I spent time on reality TV as the former lead of season 26 of ABC's The Bachelor, and unfortunately am subject to obsessive individuals and false claims constantly. It just the nature of being a quote-unquote celebrity, which I don't consider myself, but I am by some people's standards. Laura is doing whatever she can to keep communication between her and me going. Since I have blocked her on all social media, email, and text, and no longer am reading or responding to her messages, she has now resorted to reaching out to you all as she knows the pregnancy stint has run its course and she now needs to focus on a new tactic. I am sure that Laura mentioned to you all that I had violated my duties and cost her millions in dollars of real estate transactions. However, she never had any real intention of actually following through with those deals, and attached below is proof of this. See below. Our offer on Linoke was accepted by the seller and the seller's agent, John Izzo. I told John via phone call that I was no longer representing Laura and also informed him that she said she would not allow any other agents to represent her. He said that he would be willing to represent her and stated he would give her a phone call. Upon us ending the phone call, I then text him to confirm transfer of responsibilities of representation. He texted me the next day stating that she bailed on the deal. This confirmed what I had known all along, which was that Laura never had any intention of buying real estate. The ball was in her court to move forward with the deal, as she was first positioned to go under contract on the home, and yet she backed out. She just used that initial introductory line on LinkedIn to get closer to me. You're welcome to look through all the documentation I have sent over in Google Drive link below. It's a lot, but I have captured all of it as I plan suing for defamation of character and emotional damage. I have been documenting everything she continues to send to build up more of a case for when I decide to take action. For your all purposes, I tried to keep it concise and just have reference the image below in the document that I bolded above Laura Owens' transcript, as those pertain directly to the real estate transaction. Everything else deals with her claiming she's pregnant, and doubt is important to your investigation. It will, however, showcase her mental state, and I think that's important to note because I picked up on it early and is why I told her I could not represent her further. I have provided everything I have to show you why it was not anyone's best interest that I represent her, nor continue to communicate with her. She's currently threatening to go public to defame me, as you can see by the LO email on September 6th folder with the Drive link. I received 5 emails a day on average from her, even though I never replied. As I said before, this has gone on for over half a year now. So he's just been dealing with her for 6 months. None of this is public yet. She just recently filed the paternity case less than a month ago. Or maybe it is, no, it's been a little over a month by the time he's getting around to this. Because I think he does his responding and everything like on the 13th of September or something like that, which is why he has something from September 6th. But let's continue. If you decide to read all the messages, make sure you read them in chronological order and read all of it as full context is needed in order to make any judgment. The reason I say this is because in Laura's most recent message, she is blatantly lying about me and not willing to take a prenatal paternity test. I said I would take one at any point, but that I would not do it if her stipulation was us having to date exclusively for a week or two was involved. She never agreed to my request and continued to say that her stipulation was the only way that she would schedule the test, or a judge orders you to do it. You don't get to play these games. Women don't get to play these games in court. This is just not how you do things. Let's see here. I went back to not responding to her messages. She started saying that she would do it with no stipulations. I then repeated, okay, let's schedule it, to which she went right back to adding in her stipulation. I highlight this so that you can see how she is gaslighting me and those that she reaches out to. To reiterate, I do not believe I am the father, but have been trying to take the prenatal paternity test, as that will effectively end this all. So he thought. She knows this too, which is why she ultimately has been objecting to taking one. The Google Drive file was too large to submit via your website, so here is a Google Drive link of the folder that you can access. He has the link. If you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to me via my cell phone number or my email. I am happy to come in and speak in person or whatever you need from me. I would just like to move on from this as it has been very mentally taxing the last half year. And now we're like 3 years out. And so we have here, this is the text from John Izzo, which he was the realtor on one of the houses. Somebody said, I would still send in the offer. It has fallen out of escrow twice. Says, got it. Thank you for the update. Hey, John, I'm sending you this text to transfer responsibility and representation of the contract with my former client, Laura Owens, on the property of Lynn Oaks. A referral fee will suffice for bringing the deal to you. Thank you. So he's like, just give me the referral. I don't need anything else. Thank you. I'll keep you posted, is what John says. Clayton says, thanks. John says, just like you said, she bailed. Thanks for trying. Clayton says, I apologize for bringing her your way. Have a great weekend. And that was on May 27th that John sent, she bailed. And we saw in the previous video that we went over this, that she was like, oh, well, Clayton was going to help me through this. And so he's the only reason that I wanted to go through with this. So now that I don't have him, I'm not confident. Ma'am, you didn't have him before you decided you were going to go invest in properties. And you were confident then going for it. And then all of a sudden, Clayton doesn't want to be with you and date you. So now you've lost all confidence in investing in things. Somebody you haven't known, that you spent one night with, get over yourself. People do not want to have transactions like this in business dealings. And Clayton, yes, he shouldn't have done what he did, but he has owned up to it. He said, here it all is. He laid it all out on the line for everybody, and he doesn't back away from what he has done. But at the end of the day, nothing that Clayton has done gives Laura the right to do everything that she has done to him and more. Text transcript between Laura Owens and Clayton Echard. Messages from Laura are in bold font. Messages from Clayton are in regular font. So the first interaction, LinkedIn, 7:20 a.m. on May the 17th. So at least he has May here, not March, as he did in the initial writing. So Laura says, hi, I'm looking to connect with similar-minded young entrepreneurs in Scottsdale. I see that you work for Zabak Group, and I actually contacted them recently. They were going to connect me with someone who could help me find investment properties, but haven't yet. Let me know if you can help. Clayton says, hey, Laura, I'm all for building connections with good people in Scottsdale, especially since I'm relatively new here. I'm starting to lean into the investment side of things as of lately, so I'd be happy to talk further with you and see how I can help you. Shoot me a text at blank if it works for you. I'd love to meet in person and talk more. Then Laura states at 7:52 a.m., hi, Clayton. It's Laura from LinkedIn. Super eager to get started investing and already connected with hard money lenders who will fund 85% LTV once I find the right properties. I am especially interested in number if you know anything. Clayton says, hey, Laura, if you can please send back over to me following information. This will help me get a much better idea of what you're after. And so she sends the house specifications. Laura says, preferred location, Scottsdale only. Prefer this one and this one for investments. Also looking for an owner-occupied property for me, which I would want at the Optima Kierland or Landmark, but might consider Optima Camel View, whatever those are. Maybe some of y'all know. Price range, minimum max around 750, 100,000, but hope to raise my budget as I continue on my investment journey. Dwelling type, any. Beds, no minimum or maximum for investments, but for the Optima, I'm fine with just a one bedroom or even a studio. Square footage, any. Interior home design, any. Special features. For investments, I don't have any strict requirements, although I would love a casita if it were permitted that could be rented in addition to the house. Yes, we know she loves her casitas, all right? Clayton says, okay, so with the investment property, are you looking for an Airbnb, a long-term rental, a fix and flipper, or just anything that will get you a particular return? As for the property for yourself, what are the specifications you are looking for in those complexes as far as square footage, bed, bath, price point? I actually live in the Optima Sonora Village location, but was looking at Camel View and Kierland not too long ago. Love all the amenities. Laura says, anything that will get me a return. Initially, I just wanted to do Airbnbs for cash flow, but I'm liking the idea of really anything that makes good money. And as far as property for myself, staying under 750K as well, and the cheaper the better, since I'd rather spend money on more investments than getting myself a giant place. Optima just seems amazing. I have a friend who lives there and I fell in love with it when I went to visit her. I didn't know there was an Optima Sonora Village, but I'd be interested in any of the Optimas. I really care more about the amenities they offer than the location. Haha. Yeah, she sounds like a real business person. She has no idea what she's looking for or doing. And then there's an audio message. Clayton says, hey, so I figured I'd just send you an audio message since it'll be easier than to type it out. So for the Airbnbs, I'm actually trying to do the same thing myself. And I've been looking the last month and a half to 2 months. And what you will find with Airbnbs is they're overpriced just because they're individuals that are buying these properties and trying to fix them quickly. So they're trying to upcharge you. I'm looking to flip a 400K home and put 80K into it and then sell it. But if you're looking to make money right away with a home that is already ready to go, then I know properties that are making 95K in revenue per year. The Optima at Sonora Village is rent only, just so I can make sure you are saying you have 750K for your personal property and 750K for an investment property, or are you saying that you have 750K total for both a personal and investment property? So he's like, do you have two different like 750 things, or is it just 750 for the total amount of property? She said, it would be amazing to stay under 750 for 2 spots. Yeah, I would say that would be amazing. But I was thinking that I would spend that on an investment for a SFR. I saw Optima spots in the 500 to 600K range that I'm interested in seeing. Also saw 1 or 2 that did seller financing, which could be interesting. I'm super interested in Pace, Morby, creative financing and would love to check out any of the possible sub to deals too. I agree with you about the turnkey Airbnb spots definitely seem overpriced from what I've seen. So you were warned about the overpricedness of Airbnbs. And you and your mother, and yes, I'm going to say you and your mother, went and bought an Airbnb property, even though you've been told that they are overpriced. And you agree that they're overpriced, but you decided to do it anyways, which is just right on par with all the other financial decisions that your family seems to make. Not smart. If I could find something cheap and put some money into it so that it could be a revenue producing rental or a good clip, that works too. Sorry for the super vague criteria for the investment properties. I just figured if I'm not using the property, I don't care what kind it is as long as it generates money. Because it's just about money, 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 money. Clayton sends an audio message and says, I hear everything you're wanting to do. A few weeks ago, I was in your exact position, looking for a property for myself and one to rent to others. It would be good to know which one you are trying to prioritize first. I would be happy to help you out. I can get you into the Optima units to look at them if that's priority number one. Or we can look at investment properties. I think that's a good place to start instead of doing both at once. Once you get under contract with one, then you'll be able to see what type of financing you're doing from there. You can see how much money you will have left over. Let me know which one you're prioritizing. Once you make that first deal, that sets the tone for what you can do for the second property. You could potentially pull out a HELOC, which we've learned about in the Corey Richens case. I'm not fully certain on creative deals and the specifics, but we start with one. I can begin to look into that further. Laura says, it's hard to pick which is the biggest priority since I want and have been searching for both. I have to think about that, I guess. Haha. Clayton says, well, I won't make you pick now then. What we can do is check out one of the units you mentioned at the Optima that you're looking at. Then grab lunch before or after and talk about further. It would be good just for us to meet in general. Laura says, you had me at Optima. Laughing, crying face emoji. Agreed. Clayton says, perfect. Do you have a specific unit you are wanting to look at or multiple? If not, I can send over every unit available under 750K right now, and you can choose which ones you want to see. Laura says, none in particular, just whatever seems like a good deal. There had been one at Camel View that was 499K a few days ago that needed drywall and flooring that I thought could be interesting to fix up, but I can't find it. It actually looks like there were several at that Optima under 650K, so maybe those? And I saw one at 709K at Kierland, and I would like to see if that works. Clayton says, okay, I'll look into it. What's a good email to send over the results to? Also, you're cool with HOAs of the Optima? They're fairly high, 700 plus month range. Laura says, yep, but it seems like you get a lot of good people with that. If you could send them to Redacted, I would really appreciate it. Clayton says, yeah, I think so. But I like to mention it because it deters some individuals. Yeah, I don't like HOAs, but that's just me. I don't understand why places can't just adhere to making their places look good and like just have like city ordinances maybe. Unless you're like out in the country, it's a little bit different, but why do you need a president of a neighborhood? Like, no. It just, we don't need it, in my opinion. Okay. Sending over properties now. Let me know if any pique your interest. It's sent from my iCloud email, redacted. So check all inboxes if you don't see it in your primary folder. Laura says, okay, perfect. Checking now. The 3 and the 700s at Kierland look fairly similar. Would love to check out 309 and 416 if possible. I'd love to see Rancho Vista. Two different ones there. Clayton says, okay, would you prefer to see them all in one day? Also, do you have a day that works best for you? Laura says, doesn't matter to me if we see them in one day or two. I just want to see a couple units in each to compare. I'm out of town tomorrow through Saturday, but I'm around Sunday and next week too. Later in the day works best for me, but I can be flexible. What's your schedule like? Clayton says, how about next Tuesday? My schedule is wide open after 2 p.m. Could you start seeing homes around 3 or so? I can push it to later as well. To see 4 homes will take about 2 hours max if I had to guess. Also, could you do anytime Monday from 2 to 7 p.m.? Laura says, Tuesday works for me. I found the one I mentioned that had the drywall issue. It's this one, which was 545K, 100K on the link you sent, but it says 499K here. Did they decide to raise the price? How dare they? Crying laughing face emoji. Clayton says, trust the link I sent. All the listings I send you come from a database, which is the MLS database, that is most accurate. Third-party websites such as Redfin get all their data from the MLS, but are more likely to have errors. If you can, just give me a start time on Tuesday for showings, and then I'll set the schedule and send it over to you. Also, I know you mentioned getting a hard money loan for an investment property, but would you conventionally for primary residence? And have you obtained a pre-qualification letter? Laura says, I just wish the price hadn't gone up, but maybe they did the renovations listed. Is 4 too late to start? If it is, I can try to move something around to do 3. Wish we could do lunch before, but I'll be working. What about after? A drink after? I wouldn't necessarily go conventional, but I'm talking to my lender later today and we'll discuss getting um, the pre-qualification letter. If I do, I know the units plus or minus 600K will DSCR, and I might do it instead since I might consider renting out my own primary down the line if I find an investment I'd rather move into. I know Optima has 6-month minimum for that. I'm self-employed and might do a non-QM loan that would have similar rates to the DSCR, so I want to do whatever is easiest. Clayton says, looking at the MLS on the particular number, I don't see that it was ever the 499K. The MLS is the most accurate, so I'm not sure what happened. I'm going to look into each Optima location and make sure we can schedule all locations around 4. We can try and grab a drink afterwards. I don't have anything Tuesday evening. Actually, now that I say that, I may have something I have to hop on. I'll look into it. I know about DCSR. I'm self-employed as well. So I was going through the same process, similar boat. I'll get back to you on scheduling and showings. Okay, looks like all 4 places can accommodate evening showing times up until 8 p.m. So if we start at 4, timing won't be an issue. Do you want to see properties in Kierland first or Old Town? If one is closer to your work, then I would assume you may want to start there. Laura says, Kierland is closer. I can't play the voice message for some reason, so you mind texting me what you said? Sorry. I was just talking about how I am in a very similar position to you with the non-QM and DSCR loan options. Sorry. Okay, I'll schedule them starting at 4 p.m. in Kierland. I'll send over the schedule once I receive confirmation on them all. Laura says, thanks. Clayton says, you're welcome. Then Clayton sends, just got the message to play. Yes, definitely sounds like, or Laura says, just got the message to play. Yes, definitely sounds like we are in the same boat with our investment journey. Haha. Clayton sends over the thing. It says all showings are confirmed for Tuesday. I'll meet you at Kierland Optima in the visitor parking section. Laura says, thank you so much. Is it possible to also see 76th at some point next week? Seller may carry at 3% and looks like it could be an awesome investment. I could jump on that immediately. Looks like a no-brainer. Could you please ask them what they would want down? Clayton sends her a thing that talks about it because he checked into it for her. Clayton says, how funny. I had an agent on my team just text me this an hour ago. She knows I want an investment property, so she sent it over. But I'm not interested in it, so don't worry. I wouldn't be competing against you. Maybe Laura Owens. Ha ha ha. You found it first. You sure you're not interested? I can totally pass on it and look for another. Clayton says, no, we can go see it for you. I'm wanting an investment property in the Old Town area. Can you talk on the phone? Just wanted to touch base on that property. Maybe Laura Owens, which makes me believe that Clayton has an iPhone. I don't know if Samsungs do it, but I know with iPhones, if you don't have a certain person saved in your contacts on your phone, it will show up as a maybe this person sometimes. And so I think that's what this is. Also, it could just be, well, it seems like this is this person, but so he could get a maybe Laura Owens on different numbers and stuff. But as of right now, I think he just doesn't have her saved in his phone. But Clayton says, no, we can, oh, we already said that. So Laura says, I can in an hour or so, if that works. Just got to San Juan, whatever, for a horse show, but we'll be done in a bit. Clayton says, no worries. I suppose I can just text it in here. I was thinking with this particular property, the fact that you sent it to me, the fact that one of my coworkers did too, it may be being viewed by many people and could be a hot home. So if you really want it, I would suggest going to see it sooner than later. It could go under contract by next week. I know you said you're out of town this weekend, but if you could go see it today, it might be the best approach. That is, if you think it's a no-brainer and love the property. If you just like it and are okay with it as possibly being sold to someone else, then we could put in a request to see it next week and see if it makes it until then. Up to you. Laura says, I would love to, but just got to California. I'm back Saturday evening. Maybe we could see it later in the day on Sunday. I have plans in the morning. I also want a spot in Old Town. Haha. I'm sure you do with Clayton. Clayton says, okay, could you do around 5 to 6 p.m. on Sunday? Laura says, yep, I can. Do you think I should figure out how to put something together before then if it's that hot? I don't really care what it looks like. if it will cash flow. Clayton says, as in put together an offer? I can do that for you. Just to confirm, you aren't currently working with any other agents, correct? Laura says, yeah, as in trying to put together an offer before, but I can't by then or want to think on it. I would like to still see it on Sunday. I would be curious if they would accept less down or if they would extend the 10-year loan. Nope, I'm not working with any other agent. Just you. I just have eyes for you, Clayton. She did not say that. That was just in her brain when she was writing this. Clayton says, what terms would you like to see? I can call the agent and see if they're willing to do it. As in, what % down do you want to pay and how long would you want the loan terms to be? Owens says the smallest amount down possible and the longest loan they will do. Do you think it's a turnkey or will it need work before I can rent it out? Oh my God. I hope people do not, many people don't talk like this to real estate. And this is why a bunch of real estate people that I know do not even work with you until you have like the pre-qualification letter. Because they're not going to be wasting their time showing people homes that are just thinking and looking for ideas and dreaming that maybe in 5 years they can move into a place such as this. So Clayton did, and a lot of new ones will waste their time with it because they're just trying to get deals. But a lot of experienced ones are like, yeah, you don't have a pre-qualification. I am not touching this shit. But in an audio message, Clayton says, okay, so I talked with the agent and this is what he told me. They had around 6 offers already and many have wanted to do less down, $450K with 10%, which they have rejected. The seller needs the cash from this property, so 10% down is not enough. Agent said seller is trying to get 70 to 100K from this deal to put down. I did the math and that is around 16% down. So I think you could offer 17%. Seller may consider 13 to 15 seller carry with balloon payment at the end. It is turnkey, but there is an interim occupant currently. No major repairs are needed. Laura says, will he do a seller carryback and hold second? If he will do that, I have a lender to fund the 17%, but he wants first position. Clayton Echard says, let me ask. Laura says, thank you. Let's do this. Clayton then says, and you would be offering at list 425K, correct? Talk to the agent again. He highly doubt that the seller would take that. If you were to foreclose, then he would lose the home to your lender, which is a lot of risk. I don't think he'll even bring that offer to the seller. Sounds like it's a no-go from what I'm gathering. Yeah, because she's trying to screw people over. Owens says, shoot, I had that all ready to go. I'll see if I can convince the lender to take second. I think I will be able to get it done. Just wish I was able to see it before. Clayton says, well, I could walk through the property tomorrow and FaceTime call you as I walk through it, but I would see if your lender will take second because truthfully, I don't see the seller taking second no matter what else we offer. Laura says, we could do that, or I could possibly see it later on Saturday when I get back. I just don't want to lose the deal. Clayton says no open houses for this weekend on it. Plus, with an occupant in the home that limits showings, all that plays in your favor for reducing the possibility of another offer. Clayton says, well, so right now, Apparently, there's no deal that is pending. There are 6 offers that came in. There will probably be more to come in. They've all been rejected so far, but 2 are cooperating and may come up with 20%, approaching 19 DOM. There are 6 offers, and with the weekend, there may be an open house, which would bring more potential buyers and potential offers. If you can do Saturday, let me know what time you get back. I can do Saturday if you can. Laura says, been talking to several lenders and I think I will be able to pull something together. Would the tenant want to stay in place? Sorry for so many questions and being all over the map. I really appreciate your patience and hard work. I sent all the data comps and projections to the lenders and they think it's a great deal. So I hope it works out. Are your lenders dumb too? I want to hear from these lenders. I want to hear from these lenders that gave her money, supposedly. Clayton says, it's a family friend that is currently staying in the unit and they are paying very low rent, so not sure if you want them in. Laura says, oh, okay, that's going to be a no-go. Thanks for checking. That would have been too easy. Haha. Clayton says, right, we can't get that lucky. Laura says, I'm trying to secure a second for 17% LTV with the seller carrying 83%, correct? And if we're offering ask, maybe we can have an edge. Clayton says, potentially he wants 20% down from the buyer. The agent just slipped in the comment that he wants at least $70K from the deal to put on the other property he's buying. So the closer we get to 20%, the more enticing it is. But offering and asking will give us an edge as of now with that percent down. Laura says, hoping and thinking I can get something done today. I'm talking to 2 private lenders. I know if they could come to set 20% or as close as possible, we could offer that. And then also his asking, but maybe see if I could negotiate on the length of this seller finance, even beyond the 13 to 15 years you mentioned he might do. Clayton says, I think he would consider a longer carry. He wants the money up front now and is what I'm gathering more than anything. Keep me updated. Laura says, are you 100% sure the seller won't carry in second position if I structure it like this and put him on my LLC as security? Oh God, that would be the worst decision to take over her LLC or have any point in your LLC, which is worth nothing. If he will take second, I can get the deal done today at asking and he would be able to get the 70 to 80K or whatever he needs. Been talking to several lenders and I think I will be able to pull something together. Would the tenant want to stay in place? Or he could just get the lender's title insurance policy. Clayton says, can you send me your lender's contact info? I just have a few questions I'd like to ask. Laura says, absolutely. I have a few things that I'm talking to, but I was referred to this guy by a wholesaler a few weeks ago and was told he is fast and great to work with. He's been really nice so far. This is what he said yesterday. So he sends that over. Clayton says, thank you. I'm going to make a couple of calls and we'll get back to you. Laura, thanks. Clayton, just spoke to the private lender. Are you aware they are only doing 6 months to 1 year long contracts? So they could provide you with 20% down, 80K, at the 10.99% interest, but at a year. They would expect you to pay that 80K back or refinance. Do you have a plan in place after a year? This is all good info for me to know so I can inform the seller's agent of the plan. Laura says, yep, I knew that. Oh, you knew that you were going to have to pay the 80K back? How the hell were you going to pay the 80K back? You're a liar, and you cannot do things just because you have hopes and dreams. You need to be based in reality. And you paying 80K back within 6 months to a year is not reality, ma'am. There's this lady named Corey Dutton who said she could do it would want to make sure the seller's terms would be a good fit. Clayton said, would she finance for the full 10 years or just a year as well? Owen says, not sure, but I'll presume it would be a bridge since it's hard money. My long-term plan would be to refinance that ASAP. I would want a bridge so I can get in. Clayton says, okay, can you hop on the phone today? I want to confirm the game plan and make sure we're all on the same page so I can present a good, clean, creative offer to the seller's agent. Laura, for sure. I'm competing at a horse show for the next couple of hours, but can later this afternoon if that works. I'm going to forward you what Corey said too. I asked if she could call her and haven't heard back, but I'm sure you can. It will be coming from my work email, which is this. Clayton says, yes, call me when you're able to. He told me he would let me know if a deal comes in they are seriously considering. He's calling the tenant now to see when we can come see it Sunday, and he said it would be willing to meet us. So I think, a good conversation between us three could be highly impactful. He mentioned how the seller doesn't want to take second position at all. And apparently, they've had 40 or so creative deals come in already on it, and most have backed out. So the seller is starting to be very weary of investors. We just need to instill confidence back in him. At the end of the day, the seller wants to be protected in the event of a default. So as long as we can show him his money is safe, I think we can get this deal done. Yeah, it would not have been safe in the hands of the Owens. Laura says, but he won't do second at all? Clayton says, that's what he's saying now. But if we can protect his money through a title insurance plan or through taking a position in your LLC, then maybe he'll consider. Laura says, okay, bet. We can convince him. Thanks for working so hard on this. I really appreciate it. Clayton, I think we may be able to as well with the right wording. And maybe we just need to take him down to Casa Amigos. Laura says, and drink enough to get him to like us, but not so much that we puke on him. In all honesty, though, I had a great time talking to you and actually would love to get a drink with you next week if you want to. Okay, so you're just going to go, okay, I'm not going to say anything. We need him to puke so that when we have blackmail over him, yeah, we can do that. Okay, Clayton. He's joking here. I won't be able to Tuesday after showings because it's my brother's birthday, so I'm taking him out to dinner that night, but we could find another day in the week. Laura says, ha ha ha, both of us need to. Just give us 4 drinks and we're good. Oh my God, let's move the showings. Spend time with your brother. We can do it another day. She's such a kind person, letting him see his brother on his birthday. Well, as long as help limit one another will be good. No, it's all good. I wasn't going to spend the whole day with him. We'll have plenty of time to get dinner after the showing. Plus, we got all 4 showings to approve around the same time, so we should definitely take advantage of that. Laura says, ha ha ha, you would need to limit me to 3. Okay, well, I'll look fast. I also found another potential investment seller finance deal that I like, and it would be awesome to do multiple. I want a portfolio. Also, I know you were The Bachelor, but I don't watch the show. Sorry, and truly know nothing about you. So I genuinely like to organically get to know you since we seem to have a lot in common. I've gone on one date in 1 year and have never been bold enough to ask a guy out, but I would love to go on a date with you, so let me know when it works. Next week is wide open for me. You've never been bold enough to ask anybody out? I don't know the answer to that. I don't know who asked who out, but I feel like she's the one that usually does, but I could be wrong. Clayton says, I think we may be able to do as well with the right wording, and maybe we just need to take him down to Casa Amigos. Laura, and drink enough to get him to like us. Oh, wait, did I already? Okay, I already read that one. Sorry. Person says, I can't promise anything. Love that you're wanting to go full steam ahead, have to move quickly in this market and in real estate game in general these days. I'm all for getting a drink. I will say I'm happy with being single, and I'm not technically looking to settle down, but I'll never pass up good conversation. I suppose you never know what can happen with one combo. So she's started flirting, and they've started giggling and kikiing a little bit, right? Laura says, yep, I have a list going of spots I want to check out. Found an SFR that I think is interesting, and I would like to know what the terms are on it. And I really apologize for being so forward. I'm super embarrassed and obviously didn't want to make you uncomfortable. I don't want you to feel obligated, so don't feel like you have to do it. Yep, I have a listing going on spots I want to check out. Okay, I don't know why that's listed twice either. Okay. Clayton says, don't be embarrassed at all. It doesn't bother me one bit. I respect you being forward. I like people like that. Just wanted to let you know where I'm at because I don't want to waste anybody's time. Let's check them out when you're able to. Happy to help however I can. So he's already told her here that he wants to be single. So I don't have the date and when this is being said, but he's already said this. She's already mentioned the fact that he's on The Bachelor, which he may have told her. She says, I've had my eye on it for a while. Lynn Oaks thought it was this number, but it's this number, which seems to be a good zip. Price cut and seller will carry back, so it seems like they would allow a lender to come in too first. I would really appreciate it if you could find out the seller financing terms they are offering. I'm not looking to jump into anything seriously quickly either, and always let things develop organically. Bullface lie, no you do not. You have never let things go organically. Oh my God. I was just saying I would be open to grabbing a drink and seeing if there's anything there beyond business, since we seem to have a lot in common. With that being said, if you're up for getting a drink this week, great. If not, I'm feeling embarrassed and wouldn't be offended if you wanted another agent at your firm to help me with deals beyond the ones we are working on. So she puts the idea out there. You might want to let me work with somebody else with deals beyond this one. Okay? Okay, I'll take a look into it today when I'm at my open house showing. I'm totally up for grabbing a drink. Seriously, I'm not bothered at all. Laura, I would really appreciate it if you would ask about seller finance terms and feel out where the owners are at with the price since they just dropped it. Is it in a good rental area for rentals, Also, did you find out when the owner or agent wants to talk to us tomorrow about the seller finance stuff? Everyone's favorite responses when they ask someone out, I'm not bothered at all. Crying laughing face emoji times two, but good. I look forward to it. Clayton says in an audio message, yeah, I'll take a look into it and let you know the terms once I figured it out. I talked with an agent of the house that we were seeing tomorrow, and he said they wouldn't do second position. I was going to say if there was a way he could protect his investment, you're not going to default and you are good on your end. I think we need to prove to the sellers that you're good on your end. They could take a position in your LLC, so if you default, you could prove that you have funds they could capture. I don't know if you want to take that position yourself, but it would instill confidence in them. That's pretty easy sell, and we can show the numbers that she does have the funds. Let me know your thoughts on that. It puts more risk on your end, but if you're confident that you won't default, then it'll show the sellers that you are serious and they'll be more comfortable by taking second position. Laura says, sorry I missed your call. On a horse and can't hold my phone to my ear or use earbuds while I'm riding at a show or I get eliminated. Haha, can you text? Audio message. It's all good. I can send you this voice message. I just about Oak Drive, and here are the terms. Seller carry 5 to 7 years, 4% interest rate, 10% down minimum, will not take second position at all, not willing to take a position in your LLC. Smart on that person. Reason the price dropped was because a buyer backed out at the last second after changing terms. Have more than a few offers are list currently used as long-term rental. Tenants were paying $4,500 a month. Furniture currently in there that she would sell for $5K. We would have to take second position and seller would take first to get the deal done. Laura says, just got done listening. My two established LLCs are co-owned by me and my mom. So I doubt she wouldn't want him added to those, but I could have the conversation with her if needed. But I think there's an easier way. I just started a real estate LLC a couple of weeks ago, so I wouldn't have to commingle my real property with the assets we have together. My thought was I would put the house into that LLC and add him on that so that if I defaulted, which 10,000% would never happen. Okay. Liars speak in percentages. He would have gotten the benefit of all my payments and would own the house again. Which I'm guessing this is Keybacker because Liz Max is her and her mom's. So I'm guessing this is Keybacker that she started. Let me know if it's something else down in the comments. Clayton. And the private lender would have no issue with that, correct? I imagine they wouldn't, but just asking because I haven't done what you're suggesting yet, so I'm curious. Would you be okay with me taking a screenshot of that message and sending it to the listing agent, or do you want to think through more before tossing it out there? Laura says, of course, send it over. Nope, I actually learned about doing that from a private money lender. I can explain it more tomorrow to the lender if that would help. If I were him, I would prefer that since it would provide more assurance than adding him to my other LLCs, where for all he knows, the balance is 300K one day and I empty it all out the next. At least if he was on the LLC I bought the house in, he would have long-term assurance. I would want him off of it as soon as I was done with the 17 to 20% private money lender Then he would go back to being the bank just for the 80 to 83% I would owe that he originally offered us seller finance terms. Would it be helpful if I tried to get a contract/agreement together to show the agent tomorrow? Clayton says, "Can you see the property at noon tomorrow?" We can see the property tomorrow. He's going to talk to the tenants to see where we can go. He won't meet with us. He said he's busy. Maybe he's hesitant. Too risky to do LLC situation. No skin in the game from your end. They're hesitant, but at least if we see it and like it, we can show we're serious by at least seeing it. I'll get back to you with times when he gets back to me. Clayton says, if we see it tomorrow and like it, we can write up a contract. What you're trying to do, I haven't specifically done. If you want to write a descriptive agreement, I don't think it will hurt. I have an inkling that he hasn't done this deal and neither have I. I see where you're coming from, and I think we can protect everybody. I think the agent just needs to be more receptive, and he doesn't quite understand what we're trying to do. Understood. It sounds, yeah, like these are people you don't know. Why do I want a part of their business I know nothing about that has virtually no money, basically? Laura says, "Yep, that works for me. But I feel bad making you go if you have friends in town. I can go on my own if they'll let me. I'm bummed we can't meet with the agent to tag team him on this. I still have a couple of lenders mulling around going into second. If we end up needing to do it super creatively, I know exactly how I want to do it. Even though I haven't done it with houses, I've done 40 show horse flips between 50 to 175K, and I have structured deals creatively as both a buyer and a seller. I think it's good enough deal that I want to make an offer. I don't know if horse business and houses are similar, but I am not either of these type of people, so I don't know." Clayton says, "I'm not meeting them until 5 p.m., so no worries. You want to write up an offer now or go see it tomorrow, then write it up?" Laura says, "What do you think is best? I know I'm going to want to, but I don't know if I need to figure out how to structure it before you do." Clayton says, "Well, think the seller wants to see it so they can take us more seriously. Sight unseen worries some sellers." Sight seen is going to worry some sellers as well. Okay, let's see if it first, but you can be ready to go with an offer tomorrow if we like it. We. Oh, if we like it. And I said, okay, never mind. Clayton, yep, I'll write up the offer and get it over by the end of tomorrow if you want to. Laura, okay, what do you need from me to write up the offer? FYI, I don't think there's a good chance I have someone for a second position on the condo and the house you checked in on that I would need to put 10% down on. I'll know by tonight. Also, non-real estate drink Wednesday or Thursday? Clayton, just want exact terms you're offering. Offer price, percent down, duration ask for the seller, carry. Also, whether you're offering a stake in your LLC, title insurance, etc. Okay, well, with second position, this could really open us up to deals. Let's do Thursday. Laura, what do you think will be the max he would allow for duration of the seller carry? I don't want to offend him by asking for too much. Yes, money, and yes, winky face emoji. Clayton, maybe 15. That's an easy ask, though. Can't see them being, at the end of the day, you can't let your feelings get in the way in this real estate game. Great and great. Now I just need to pull myself out of bed. I'm wiped from today and laid down to take a nap, so I'm so comfy right now. Laura. Okay, then 15. And yes, need to put my big girl pants on for the real estate. If I want to build a portfolio. Also, I know I'm getting to be able to get someone who will do second. I love a good challenge. And being in bed sounds so nice right now. I'd find it hard to get up too. I just got home and can't wait to get out of writing clothes and into comfy clothes. What'd you do today? Clayton says, manifest it. I got out of bed, thankfully. May have another shower or showing, not showering, showing tomorrow, but it's all picking up quickly. I worked out this morning, sat in open house for a few late hours later, did a photo shoot for a mental health event, and went out to lunch with my cousins. I may go get a standing mirror and some patio furniture now. What's on your agenda the rest of the day? Laura, I'm going to make it happen. Watch me. That's amazing. Congrats. I may be keeping you busy with how many I want to buy. You need to get your first investment. Was thinking more about your construction new build strategy, and I love it. Sounds like a challenge with a big payout. All about the dollar signs for Laura because she needs money because she is going to try to buy all these houses with $0. Just everybody else's money. I mean, the similarities between her, the Owens, and Corey Richards is crazy to me. Sounds like a very busy day. Do your cousins live here too? It's awesome that you're into mental health. I'm super passionate about that too. Would love to hear more about it. So funny. I've been online shopping for a standing mirror the last couple of days. Not much on the agenda, checking on the horses, taking a shower. Now she says shower. We don't mean showing. I was just apparently foreshadowing what was to come. And figuring out how to structure this deal. Super excited Saturday night. Upside down face emoji. You? Clayton sends an audio message. I have no doubt we're going to make it happen. I don't mind being busy. I'd rather be busy than having nothing to do. I'm going to IKEA now to get furniture for my place. My construction stuff is going to be awesome. Maybe we could get you into that if it makes sense with bills or pricing. Sat a home today where the guy is going to flip a home for 150 to 200K over build price. We'll keep working with this as time goes on. My cousin lives in Miami and has just came in for a wedding. I would need a few hours of your time to talk about mental health. We can talk about it during a drink. Sounds like you're having a responsible night. I may go home and sit out on my balcony, or I may go out and party. It depends on how IKEA goes. I mean, sometimes IKEA just makes you want to quit and go out because you're done with the instructions. You know, no judgment. Laura says, good luck at IKEA. Hopefully I end up there soon buying furniture for a STR. I worked at this AM, but thinking I'm going to do a second now. You're getting out of bed motivated me to not be lazy. I'm obsessed with working out, and you never have too many glute workouts, in my opinion. Ma'am, there is such thing as too much working out. There is. Yep. Clayton, I actually really like IKEA. Well, the shopping part, not the assembly. See, that's what I mean. Like, get the shopping done and then be like, you know what? Screw these instructions and assembling it. Let's go out. Okay, well, now you're making me feel like I need to do another. Never can do Clayton says, never can do too much glute work. I'm caked up myself. Okay, Clayton. Okay. Laura, yes, 10,000%. Hate the assembly part. Might need some help. Looking good on the second, fingers and toes crossed. A night in Old Town sounds more fun than doing a booty band workout. I'm sure my butt beats yours. I was given a nickname in high school. Okay. I was too. hmm And it's lived with me my whole life. Echard, crossing everything. What was the nickname? I think you're severely underestimating underestimate underestimating me. Why was that a hard word? I have a strong lower body. Laura, it's more fun if you guess. Maybe if you figure it out when you see me, I'm all good. I'm all for a good man's butt, but I win best. Peach emoji. Trust me. What did you decide to do for the rest of the night? I'm listening to a creative finance podcast, living it up. Laughing face. Clayton, we'll see. Just eating pizza and assembling IKEA furniture. How's the podcast? Laura, guess I'll need to throw in another lower body workout in the AM just to make sure I win. I'm a little competitive if you can't tell. Laughing, crying, laughing face, sideways emoji. I had Domino's pizza and their brownie cookie combo. Not to toot my own horn, but I didn't hold a candle to my desserts. I bake the best cookies ever. Who is trusting her to bake cookies? I don't know that I want to eat anything that she makes. Nope. She might bake good. I don't know. I'm not trusting it. The podcast is ridiculously motivating. Love it. Also going back and forth with a few lenders. What'd you end up buying? No getting wild in Old Town tonight? So here's where Domino's Pizza enters the arena because remember, she states that she ate Domino's every day straight for like 6 months. Clayton says, hey, everybody benefits with another lower body workout. Upside down face. What's your best kind of cookie? Any luck on lenders? I bought 2 outdoor balcony chairs and a standing mirror. Done with the assembly, so now I can just eat my pizza and enjoy an edible I took. Good luck at IKEA. Hopefully I end up there soon buying furniture for STR. And then she sends this horse pic with some flesh colored like leggings with her butt. And this is the picture that excited Clayton that we had wondered about for a long time. And then we saw it and we were like, really? We were thinking it was going to be way more risque than this. This is not what we were thinking. This picture is not what we were thinking started this whole debacle. Clayton, this is cruel to send me at this time of night. Crying, laughing face emoji. Laura says, oh, is it? Crying, laughing face emoji. And I think my best is my specialty, which is chocolate with mint chips, although I make some mean M&M cookies. Hard to say. Accomplishing an IKEA build and being outdoors in Arizona equals perfect night. And I'm still going back and forth with a few. It looks good, but I don't want to jinx it. As a backup, I found a contractor online for the same kind of deal I want to structure, and I wanted to tweak a bit. I was thinking he might be more comfortable if I had a real estate attorney draft something, and I'm happy to do that. I will get this done. Oh, and whoopie pies. I forgot about those. So here's a picture of her cookies, some whoopie pies, her mint chocolate cookies, and her M&M cookies. Okay. Clayton. Yes, especially when I'm trying to stay focused, and now you're making me hungry for sweets too. An attorney might help because the correct verbiage is everything, especially when it comes to creative terms. Laura. Yeah, and the way you were describing your lower body is a big turnoff for me to not. The edible sounds pretty fun too. I don't know if Laura's ever done an edible at this point in her life. Maybe that was her first edible ever. Who knows? But she thinks that anything that the guy would like to do is fun for her because wants to, she's the type of person that her interests are going to mimic the person she's with. Other than the horse, like animal stuff, everything else, she's going to be like, well, if the guy wants to do it, I'm all for it. But she says, yes, plan A should be second lien so we don't involve the owner in this at all. If that doesn't work, then I will have an attorney draft something Monday morning to present to him. I'm worried that will be too late, but I know I can get a lawyer beforehand and honestly think I can do this without going through all that hassle. Clayton, just wanted you to know the truth. Yeah, I like these head highs I get. Everything feels more sensitive. I think if we establish tomorrow that we are serious with our interest, we can have a further combo with the seller's agent about how we'll both be able to remove the seller's risk from it all. Laura, now you have me wanting an edible. It's been a while since I've done one. Okay, but just to confirm, we are definitely not going to be meeting the seller's agent. I feel like we could tag team him and give him a lot of confidence right off the bat. You mean gaslight the fool? That's what you're wanting to do. Clayton, I got one for you whenever you want. He's talking about the gummy edible thing, whatever it is. Yeah, I don't think the agent is taking this seriously because he doesn't think the deal will work at all. He could meet, I just got the impression that he didn't want to. If we can lock in a private lender taking second position, we'd be golden. Laura, yes, please. Also, not sure if you're a cuddler, but all I can think about right now is snuggling and being a little spoon with my peach against your. Sorry if that's TMI. Yes, it is TMI to send to your real estate person. TMI. And that agent is ignorant and doesn't understand creative financing. He will after I'm done with him. Ha ha ha. But yes, a second would be better for sure, and I'm trying to work on rates. Clayton. I am. Just come cuddle now. Teach everyone a lesson. You clearly know what you're talking about. Rock on emoji. Laura. Cuddle plus edible plus a new investment? Clayton. Done deal. Laura. I'm craving all of that ASAP. Clayton. Well, just come now then. I'll be up for a while. Laura says, should I? Clayton says, yeah. And there's something redacted there. Laura says, fine. Clayton says, let me know what your ETA is. Laura, I ordered a Lyft and he's 10 minutes away. You sure you'll still be up when I get there? Yep, you'll be here in 10 minutes. Or he gets to your place in 10 minutes. He's here in 5. And then you're 10 away, apparently. I'm sure you can get any girl to come sleep with you. And let me be clear that I am not most girls. And like I said, never watched The Bachelor. So you're only getting me in bed to cuddle. Apparently not. And I'm wearing what I was wearing to bed, not what I would wear on a date, FYI. Would she come over in her moo-moo? I mean, not knocking a moo-moo. Love me a good moo-moo. But okay. Clayton says, okay, that's not too long. Yeah, I respect you and whatever your decisions you take. Trust me, I won't be judging. Laura, this driver is so slow and has been a minute away for like 5 minutes. He's just pulling up. Clayton, all good. Laura, this complex is huge. Clayton, yeah, so you'll get dropped off by visitor parking. There's a glass elevator with steps next to it, and you'll take that up to the upper level. Laura says, walked past that, going back now. And we're going to stop there because that was one day. And so in the next video, we will get into the next day and continue this. We're going to do this in multiple parts so that it's not just an extremely, extremely, extremely long video. So let's end it there for part 1, and then we'll pick up part 2 another day. Hit subscribe, like this video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure your notification bells are on so you can come back every time I post a new video, and I will see you next time.